Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Painting at Home. I am Jean Moss, and I have the most wonderful, delicious beverage. This is called Prosecco, and I believe it is a wine that has bubbles in it, and I'm about to try it for the very first time. I have a special glass. This is called flute. You do not play this, you drink out of it. And this is what they serve, wine with bubbles in. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Prosecco is a bubbling white wine. And this says it's from Italy, which I believe is somewhere in China. Oh, that smells just wonderful. So I'm just gonna give myself a little pour, and I'm gonna toast to all of you. Welcome to a very special episode of Painting at Home. I am Jean Moss, and let's give this a little try here. Oh, that's terrific. Oh, effervescent. Oh, I love that. I wore my very special fancy shirt. Let's get started, see what we're going to paint today. I'm gonna set my wine down. Okay, so I thought, because so many of us have had so much time to spend inside, but some of us have even been out to a park. So I thought tonight would be going to the park. Wine in the park. A little wine, a little watercolor, and we will be going to the park. Now there's a very famous painting, and it is called Sunday in the Park. This I'm going to call Thursday in the Park with Jean. I think that's a fine title. So I've left a blank canvas here today. Now again, my canvas, I like to just use paper. I have a very special kind of paper though that came with my package that my fan sent me with all of my art supplies. So we're gonna do a combination of watercolor. I've got all my watercolors, and then I've also got my markers and my crayons, all provided by Crayola. And we're gonna go ahead and get started here with Thursday in the Park with Jean. Let's get going. I hope you are all having a wonderful evening. It has been such a glorious sunny day here at my studio. I do love parks. I don't see them that often unless I'm looking out my window. I can sometimes see it if I have my binoculars. I can see it, and it's just wonderful, this park. So I've laid out sort of an idea of what I'm going to do, and I have a marker, and I'm just going to start to draw my hillside, because the park that I see does have a couple of rolling hills, and those of you who have joined me before know that I just absolutely love rolling hills. So I'm going to start with a hill, perhaps on this side, maybe in the background. Here's a rolling hill right there. Wonderful. And we'll just leave it there, see what happens. And then I'm going to draw another rolling hill, somewhere in the back, maybe here. There we go. There's just a little hill. That's lovely. And then we're going to leave this as a play area. I imagine too maybe there's a little pond, and also quite a few trees. You know how much I love trees. So let's get started maybe looking at some trees. I'm going to outline my trees today, starting with a little bit marker, and then we're going to fill it in with that watercolor paint. So I'm going to take my marker, and I'm going to draw a stump. Now I always love my scenery to be as if you're looking around, right? So here's my tree, and so I want this tree to be sort of in front. So we're going to draw the tree stump right here, and it's going to go off the page here, and then a big old branch right there. There's a branch, and there's a branch up here, and we're going to fill this in. But what I'm trying to do is get the sense that this tree has branches. And there's another one, and maybe let's connect those two. We'll fill that in later. Great, and I'm just going to let this go all the way up, and then we'll fill it in and draw it in. Now, a couple of things you might find at a park. Let's talk about it. Probably a playground set, right? Probably you'll find, people playing, maybe flying some kites, perhaps. And maybe even a pond. I'm going to imagine my pond is down here. So what I'd like to do is grab maybe like a blue color, but I'm going to take a bolder blue than I usually take. This one is such a wonderful color of blue, and I'm trying to see, this is called blue marble, how appropriate. So we're going to draw our pond, but I'm going to make my pond, I think I'll draw it just across here, just across. There we go. And we'll draw it across this way as well. One thing I'm doing is I'm sort of designing as I'm going. I'll fill in the shade. I'll fill in the shade later. But for now, we've got our pond, we've got our hills, we've got our trees started. One other thing I wanted to do was draw what I believe would be a playground set. So I'm just gonna take, a gray marker here and draw a little set right here. There's a little set, and then I'm gonna draw a straight line over, and then maybe just another, yes, sort of playground set. Exactly, and I just want to kind of fill this in. Now, one thing you might not know about marker, if you turn it a little bit on its side, you're going to get a thicker line. So give it a try at home if you're playing with markers today. And then we can add our little swings. So here's one swing, and maybe a thicker line to fill that in. Oh, I love this. I can already imagine all the playing that's going on in this park. So here's my swing, and here's my swing set. Now you'd want to be careful if you're swinging on this set. It does go downhill. Be very careful if you ever swing and you might fall downhill. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so I think I am ready to take my big brush and my watercolors. We have our trusty watercolor palette, and I'm using a bigger brush today. I'm going to just start to fill some of this in. I love playing with this big brush color, and I am dipping it in my water to saturate it with watercolor. That's what you need. So we're going to take that, and I'm going to fill in my trusty green here for my rolling hills. And why not? Maybe a little green with some glitter. You know how much I love glitter. I think the glitter is going to give this grass a little bit of a mossy feel. I love a mossy feel. I'm sure you do too. Here we go. We're going to color this in. Oh yes. Now one thing with this kind of brush, you have to be careful because that water is going to run right down. Now why I love that for this particular painting is because the water is going to run right into the water. How clever. How absolutely clever. So I'm going to grab that green. I'm going to grab my sparkly green. A little bit of black just to capture some depth. This is just wonderful. One thing about watercolor I've been finding is that once it dries, it really makes an interesting little texture. And I'm sure those of you who have watched our episodes, you know how much I love to play with textures. Okay, so we're just kind of massaging in this painting. Give it a good stroke here, just a nice broad stroke. I talk about this every day, but I cannot emphasize and stress enough how important it is to really stroke your paintings very well. So now I have this little space down here, and we'll figure out what to do with that as we go. But right now, I think I'm just going to create a nice line of grass. I kind of want to create like a little field here. Probably what I'll do is I'll add some trees. You know I love to add trees. I hope you all are having such a wonderful Thursday. Welcome to Thursday in the Park with Jean. We're drawing a little bit here of a hillside, and I'm using that glitter because I just think glitter is so fancy. It is absolutely, we got a little drip there, but no worries, because we're gonna blend it all together anyways, so it'll be just fine. But I'm gonna pull it off the wall there, there we go. And let's just swipe up here, there we go. Oh, that watercolor, it is such a rascal. It will just go right away from you if you don't pay attention. There we go, let's just go ahead and wipe that off. Easy breezy. It's one thing about watercolor though is simply just use water to wash it off. I am going to desaturate this brush just a little bit because I already have quite a bit of water in my paint. And so now I'm just going to continue to sort of stroke this and fill this lovely rich green in. It's just a lovely rich green, and we're at the park, and it is just such a wonderful park already. I'm just thrilled with how it's turning out. I'm going to saturate my brush again. Now, we are going to move into the trunk of our tree. Now, for those of you who've been tuning in before, I love a big girthy trunk. I always do. This is just wonderful. So here's my trunk, and I'm just going to do an up and down. This is called a vertical stroke. And I'm going to add, what the hey, a little bit of black, just to create a little shading in here. Oh, look at that. So that gives the sense that the tree is not just one color of brown, but many colors of brown. I'm going to fill that in. This is just beautiful. Great. And then I'm going to play with that slide. Oh yes, here's my tree trunk. And we go up and down, and I'm just going to fill that in. And there's our little tree trunk. For those of you joining me, welcome. It is wine and watercolor night. I have cracked open a wonderful bottle of Prosecco. It is an Italian white wine with sparkling bubbles. It is just divine. My first time trying it, and I got it as a gift from an old friend who was visiting New Mexico and tried it because she found a bottle on the street and said, I have tried the most wonderful thing, so I'm going to send you a bottle of it. It is Italian. Now we're going to start to fill in that water. I have some green going and I love that, but I'm going to just take that and glide it. I love this water because the water gets so playful in and of itself. It just gets so playful. Here's my pond. And what I'm going to do is explore the life inside this water today. I have a little bit of this glitter paint that I'm also going to use. I just love glitter paint. It really is a remarkable aesthetic. Here we go. And I'm doing a little bit more now of a horizontal stroke, but what I love is the water in the paint is already capturing what water might look like. It is just glorious. Here we go. So let's give that a moment to dry. I just love it. We have our swing set over here, and now I'm going to add a little bit of color to my tree. And I'm thinking of going a little bit crazy today. I'm going to grab some of my green marker. And this one, for those of you at home watching, is simply just called green. Very simple green color. I'm going to add some leaves and shapes to my tree up here. So I'm thinking maybe circles. Oh, yes. Because one thing about trees is they tend to be kind of fluffy. So we're going to draw some circles. I'm going to create a circle here and a circle here. Tonight is Thursday in the Park with Jean. We are in a park. And I'm just filling in a little bit of color. And I will blend this all with watercolor, but I'm trying to get the shapes going in my tree. And the shapes, this is such a wonderful word. I'm trying to undulate the tree. Undulate the tree, it's a wonderful word. Play around with words. I invite you to play around with all sorts of words in your time. There we go, we're just drawing little circles. I have done this with crayon before. Some of you may remember. You can also draw circles with marker. It's a very versatile shape. There we go. We're just drawing. And I imagine this tree goes somewhere off the page. Maybe a couple of little doodads down here, a doodad right here. There we go. And there's our shapes. It's just wonderful. Not sure what type of tree this might be. Maybe a little oak tree or peach tree or something. Who knows? Your tree can be whatever you want it to be. I do want to connect this though. Now one thing that's happening very nicely is the paint and the marker are just blending together so gorgeously. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of red in my tree. I'm feeling red today. I don't know what that's about, but let's just go with it. I've got a lovely red here. It's kind of a ruby red, but then also an orangish sort of fiery red. I'm just going to dip a little bit of water, just a little bit, and I'm going to just sort of blend that. Oh, yes. And what this is doing is it's really just kind of making that tree a little bit more of that fluffy texture. And I'm going back to those circles. Again, you can do circles with both marker and crayon. Also paint. Look at that. That's coming together very nicely. I'm just going to get some of this little water guy out. And back to my little circle shapes. And there we have it. There's our tree. How beautiful. And it's overlooking this lovely little sort of pond area. And now I think we ought to focus on our sky. What will our sky be today? Oh, I don't know. I hope it's just as effervescent, though, as the very delicious wine that I am drinking, and I hope you're having a little special treat for yourselves at home. I know. This is the part of the week I think we all just want to lie back and just relax a little bit. So, one color I've not used yet is this wonderful orange glitter color. Let's see what happens when I start to use a little orange glitter. Oh boy. Now I do have a little bit of blue, which was intentional because obviously our sky is blue. But what this is doing is with that orange sort of glitter color, it's really bringing home that blue sunny sky, which is exactly what we were going for. I'm going to just dip a little bit more water just to capture and catch that color just a little bit better. There we go. And let's see what happens when we start to paint that sky. Oh, There's that yellow. There it is, shining right through, exactly right. Wine and watercolor, what a wonderful combination. I love how the watercolor just kind of bleeds into the grass because that provides a little bit of continuity. It really just ties everything together. Let's get a little bit more of that glitter. I'm going to start over here. And I'm even going to sweep into my tree here because why not? Why not? And I will want some trees a little bit in the background. One thing I'm going to try to do is maybe add a little bit of that orange and get some more of that glitter going. Because I'm feeling like my sunny sky has glitter in it today. Why not? Oh boy. Oh, what a delightful color. How delightful indeed. And I'm going to catch some of that tree green and we're just going to take that right along. Oh, the games you can play with color. It is extraordinary. We're just going to blend that right out. Look at how beautiful. And what's wonderful is the sky is just sweeping. It is just sweeping. Oh, I love a sweeping sky. It's been a while since I've seen a sweeping sky. Sometimes you can see it out the window. Okay, we're going to finish up with our sky. And then I think, of course, it's time to get onto some trees in the background. I know how much all of you love when I draw trees. And I think I know why. It's because trees represent so much life. They're just so beautiful. You can grow anywhere, really. And you know how much I love a good tree. So we're just going to keep on our sky here. We're just finishing up the last little bit of our sky. A nice broad stroke. And feel free to stroke your paintings as broadly as you want to. Look at that. And I'm just going to let that sky start to sort of dry here a little bit. It's a very subtle sky. Look at how lovely. It is just coming together so beautifully. All right, let's get right into our tree making. So I'm going to switch now to a smaller brush. Let's see. Oh, my smaller brush seems to, you know what? I have an even better idea. Let's go ahead and take, risky, but let's give it a try. Mr. Color Crayon, look at that. This is called sepia. Sepia. I believe that might be Italian as well. Okay, so where should our little tree go? I'm thinking our little tree might go somewhere over here. Let's have a look. Maybe a tree, back here. I'm going to draw up. Here's my big, girthy tree trunk. Oh, here's another one. And I'm sure there are some rocks over here, so let's just go ahead and draw those rocks. Maybe a little bit of brush. There we go. We've got our big tree, and I'm going to make this big tree nice and tall today in our park. Nice and tall in our park. This is just wonderful. And now this tree, once again, is in the distance. So we're going to go ahead and draw that tree a little further back in the distance. And we're also going to make it a little bit darker. And there's our top here. There's our top. And maybe just a little bit of fur all around this tree as well. This is just gorgeous. And I love this. I'm going to give this one a little bit of texture. And I'm going to draw that top all the way around. Maybe there's a little bird. Let's get a bird up there. Why not? I do love a good bird. Here's our little birdie, sitting all right at the top. Give him a little wing. There's our bird. Oh, that's just great. Fantastic. Let's go back to that brown sepia color. And there's my tree in the back. I'm going to color this bad boy in today. Oh, this crayon and the paint, it's just really coming together. This one's a very tall tree. I imagine hanging out underneath that tree, maybe reading a good book. Here's my brush, and the brush is even going to go a little bit further behind. Oh, that's just wonderful. A couple things I wanted to add to the sky. I've been thinking a lot about skies lately since we did our wonderful painting. Sky's the limit, right? We explored constellations, stars, space, who knows? And we're going to today explore what could live in our sky. I have the most wonderful color. It's a very beautiful pink. Let's explore what this is called. It's called Popsicle Pink. What a perfectly named marker and crayon for our park. Thursday in the park with Jean. I'm going to re-outline this because the watercolor sometimes does take a little bit over. And we're just going to put our swing set back in here. Here we go. And get those swings there. Remember, you always want to be careful when swinging downhill. So there's our wonderful, I'm gonna even create a little shadow underneath it. There's a little shadow there. Look at that. Okay, that's terrific. And now we're gonna take this wonderful popsicle pink. I wish they had a picture of a popsicle on the popsicle pink. And I'm gonna draw a beautiful kite in our sky. So kites have a wonderful shape to them. Just kind of a little bit of a diamond shape. Look at that. Popsicle pink. And I'm going to just color this in. What I love about what the watercolor has done here though is it's making the popsicle pink very subtle. I'll show you guys when we zoom in a little bit at the end. And I'm going to draw a little tail on that. But what I also love about the watercolor is it's just making it so subtle. And then maybe a couple of little flags. A couple of little flags here. Just a little kite. Maybe someone accidentally let go of the kite. Who knows? Or, it would be really fun, take that gray color, let's just draw a little string. Maybe someone's flying it from behind the hill. Magnificent. It adds a whole new layer I didn't even know it had. Oh, that is just terrific. And now why don't we get some birds just to kind of finish off our park. Get a little bird in there. Let's have a look. We've got one little bird in our tree right there. And I think I'm going to draw a couple of little birdies right back here. There's one. And there's one. Great. And then, because my dear friend who sent me this wonderful bottle of wine loves ducks, so why don't we give her a duck? My friend in New Mexico sent me a wonderful bottle of wine that has bubbles in it. So here's our little duck. Here's our little ducky head, little ducky beak, and little ducky neck there. And let's go ahead and draw little ducky tail. Now we'll color him in. What a cutie. Little rascal down there. Who knows what he's doing? Maybe that duck has a little baby duck. Why not? Just a little circle, a little beak, and just a little bit smaller, this little duck. Look at that. Two little best friends down there in our little park. Oh, that is just heartwarming. Just heartwarming. And let's grab that crayon one more time. I'm just gonna, once again, kind of specify that line here. That's just beautiful. We've got our rolling hills, our tree, 2 trees, and a playground. We've got our wonderful ducks, our wonderful birds. The sky's truly the limit in this painting as well. Let's zoom in and have a little bit closer look here at our wonderful park. Thursday in the park with Jean. Just magnificent. I wonder what's happening in a park near your house today. Maybe friends playing games, maybe a picnic, maybe someone having a wonderful glass of Prosecco, an Italian sparkling wine. I invite you all, if you can, get out to a park, maybe look around, see what kinds of fun things you can do in your park near your house. Are there ducks? Are there birds? Are there trees? Everyone, go have a wonderful Thursday night. Thank you so much for joining me, Jean Moss, for Watercolor and Wine. Cheers.